Hey guys, Andrew here. In this tutorial, we are going to be looking at page builder basics. So we're going to be looking at making a few things from scratch and understanding how the page builder works. So to begin with, what we're going to do is just click on page builder here at the top. And before we click on the page, we'll see there are a few options here. For example, we have something called the site-wide footer. That's all this down here. And this is a piece of the page builder that's applied to every page on the site. You can click the little gear icon here to edit that, but it's set in place, and if you want to edit it with the page builder, just click on it. And if you need to change like some button text here, or maybe your phone number changes, etc., you can change that out right there. We want to work on pages, so we're going to click on give it a title. That's the name of the page here that I'm working on. And before we get down here, we're going to go through the stuff at the top. So over here, these are just the tools and settings for some of the page builder stuff on the front end. If you make a page like a landing page, it needs to be applied to other places. You can save it as a template. You can duplicate things, preview it without the builder, go into tablet and phone mode, view some of your revisions. And revisions are like stuff you've done and published. So the past few revisions you made. History is the changes you've made while you're in the page builder here. Layout and CSS are things you shouldn't really have to worry about, just code stuff. And I don't do my CSS here. That's all elsewhere and theme-based. Global settings, these are set for your site already. And just other little helpful things here. It does have like a light and dark mode if that's your jam. I like the light mode. Let's scroll over here to the left side. Right here we have just the kind of like a what's what on your page. When your pages get long, this is really helpful to be able to see where everything is. We have the assistant right here. We're not really using that presently on the site. Maybe we will in the future. When you click this plus icon right here, it brings up the page builder options, things that you can use. And we have modules here. Modules are the smallest box that you're going to use. For example, like this is a call out module. It's my favorite module because I feel like it does the most. It's just the most used, like heading, title, text, and then a call to action. That's so much of what content is on your site. And so there's a number of modules here that you can use to play around with. And then rows here, these are just the base outline for rows. Like if I drag this in, you'll see that it just gives me a 2-column row and it's empty and ready for me to drag modules into. Templates, this is just some of the saved stuff that we have on the website. We have like a base checkout. This is the dashboard little area that I made, and then we have masterclass replays. On the back end, when you're making a new page, you can just click duplicate this layout, so it's not really going to get used a ton, but the base checkout part is pretty neat. And then if we go to saved, this is kind of overwhelming. We're going to clean this up a little bit, but here are all the saved elements that you can use on the site. And the reason we have a lot of saved elements is, one, like all these consulting pieces, these are the little things that go into the slider for consulting. All these LH pieces, these are all the things that go into the tabs for the masterclass tab, like on the home page, for example. And then a lot of these like client ones are used in different, like the slider on the testimonials page. And for example, Beltway Church, David's story, that's used like on the home page. When someone clicks on view more of the story, that's the one that pops up with the video and the little blurb that he gave. And then, of course, the global CTA. These are the things that you guys have that you're taking the little shortcode for it and popping it into posts. And they're global. You see the little icon because when you change it here, it changes it everywhere, which is super helpful. But there are a lot of other things that are just pieces that make building out a new page much easier. So there's a lot of things on the site that we use multiple times. For example, like these numbered call-out columns. Instead of having to rebuild this every time, you just drag that saved module in, change your text, and you're good to go. It's the same principle with all these other saved modules. Like we have a restricted content notice. I didn't drag it in. So if we have something like a new page that isn't part of the Learning Hub already, we can drag this in and let people know, hey, you can't view this unless you're a subscriber. And you can see that it has visibility rules from this little thing right here. And this one should be, if people aren't logged in, this is what they're going to see. Anyway, so we went through all that. Let's go to the actual builder itself. So what I did to make this is I just dragged in two of the 2-column row. And I added a callout module. And I made them all different background colors so you can see this is just boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes. It's a module inside of a column inside of a row. And we'll start with the row. Like if I hover over this, you can see there's row settings, duplicate, row actions is just has to do with width, and then of course you can delete it, and you can also move it around. So if I duplicate this row, and I'll just make this call out title again. And if I want to, my video things are getting in the way. If I want to move this, I can just drag it below. Stop video. Rather drag this one up. And it just switches the row thing there. And you can see again here what's what and where's what. This just gives our layout for the page. I'm going to delete this one. We're going to go to row settings. Your site's super clean, so we're not using row settings for the most part. What we are using here is going to be the height. So we have a minimum height here. The other thing we can do, this is helpful for landing pages, is make it full height, and that just goes across the whole view height. And on the minimum height, I have it set to pixels. And we can use also view width and view height. So if I wanted it to go the full page again, just like the full height there, I would do 100 view height, and it would make it 100% of the view height there. And then I can put content at the top, the bottom. I like it in the center. A lot of these are going to be helpful just for landing pages when you want to add a little spice, because most of the site is super clean. Black text, blue buttons, images, etc. But we have several different background types here. So obviously we have this one set to color, that green. And you can choose from any of these. And those settings are pretty self-explanatory. So say we want to do a photo. So we want to do a photo. We can take the media source from our library. We can go select the photo. I'm just going to, there's Andy and Tony. So I'm just going to select that. You can see it throws that in as the background. I can change the position if I want it to be in a certain place depending on where my text is. And I really like the overlay type. This is helpful for Google when it gives you like a warning that people can't read your text. So we want to give it like an overlay color. And I'm just going to do this one. And I want to drag this slider to where it's transparent. And click save. And now I have that little thing there. So that's the row. The next is the column. So we want to do column settings. And you can do the same here. You can move columns, duplicate them. Of course, delete them. Reset the widths, reset everything if you can't get it to be on the right thing. But we want to edit the columns. And the column settings are similar to the row settings. So they have the height options here, background options. So we can do Tony, or we can do money, 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 money. Oh man, I can't edit that out. Enjoy that, hopefully. So now we have just the column with the background photo. Same type of thing here, overlay. And then lastly, we have the module itself. So this is the content portion. And when you click on any module, you can see all of this relates just directly there. I can add whatever I need to. If I need to add a form, I just drop in the text or the form code here by clicking on text instead of visual. And then there's a lot of settings that we can go through and make it our own and make it look a certain way. If I want to add a button, I just go to the link section, add the link, select the type of call to action as a button, and then add my button text, and I'm good to go. One thing that is helpful is having margins and padding. Each one of the on the advanced tab of each one of these, there are margins and padding that you can add to kind of space it the way you need it to be spaced. And a lot of the modules have their own. For example, this callout module, if I take away this padding, it just pushes right up against the white of the background. Obviously, we don't use the background color in your call to actions in many areas. But if we did, and it needs a little space to breathe, we just add some padding and we're good to go. So that is the basics of how the page builder works. And my best recommendation, honestly, for people that are going to be using this site a lot, is to just jump in here, play with the saved ones, because this is what's going to create continuity around the site. We want to focus on using saved pieces as much as possible. And then also on a test page, just dropping in different modules and seeing how they look and seeing what they do and learning your way around them. This is one of those things that it's a very easy page builder to learn, but like anything new is going to have a learning curve. We just think that the way that we've done it makes that learning curve a lot smaller, but it's still going to take time to get used to for sure. And of course, we're an email away if there are any questions about how to handle something.